CTM. What's going on, everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world right now. I am so glad to be here with you. I always miss you. You're really a good bunch. No, I see a couple of people here today who've been away for a few days, for a week or so, and everyone feels really happy to kind of be back in that CTM zone. And over the past week, well, ever since, let's just recap really quick. By the way, let me frame the session today is going to be a lot different than what we've experienced over the past week. We've been heavily into modeling. Before we lost 37,000, I made sure that everyone understood that we had two big technical levels ahead of us, 37,000, 35,000. And then before those broke down, because 35,000 was channel support, right? As a big technical breakdown, wanted to make sure that we had what was beneath that figured out. Really went hard for about a week into modeling. Really happy with where we are as far as CTM modeling is concerned, life cycle of technology adoption. And, you know, like I feel like about 2.5-3 hours of pre-session work straight would go into each one of those. And I'm not sure how the flow was of those sessions, of whether or not like that type of intensity and it within my mind and in planning everything, whether or not when we got time to present and share, whether it was too dense and whatnot. And I feel like, well, today I wanted to, my plan for today was I wanted to kind of just go old school style, really focus on the equity markets and kind of just like look at charts and talk about them as we go, like no planning. That's not really what happened. I've spent the last couple of hours, obviously, just getting lost inside rabbit holes. But really, I want to just share with you where this has led me this morning. By the way, this is Jurian, head of global macro for Fidelity, and he's sharing this chart of Fed tightening cycles. Over here in black is the current in real time, and this is where the equity markets so far have peaked out. That's where he's aligning all these past tightening cycles from. 2018 is a very familiar one because it's only 4 years ago. This is where the Fed had to flip. Yeah. And if you remember in October, when we saw that the Fed was going to be hiking, first thing that we did was go look at what past rate hiking cycles look like when they begin tightening. And we expected this volatility coming into around the height of the hiking cycle. By the way, that was March 16th, right? And that's where I thought, well, that there's a good chance we were putting in a bottom there. I thought we were on the equity markets. And then that rally got really just ripped, like hard down. And then we talked about before breaking and taking out that low, what the significance and importance would be. That's when I released like when markets crash, preparing everyone before the breakdown. Since then, we've broken down. And, you know, Jurian's just like, it's a chart. And he's just saying a lot of sideways turn with the occasional sharp drawdown. This was just massive what we've experienced over the past few weeks. And I continue to think that it's a good roadmap. Can you imagine by January 2023 that the equity markets have recovered and are trading at new all-time highs again? Now, I have no idea what's going to happen. I sincerely don't. But at the same time, could you imagine for a moment that we are looking at January 2023, equity markets have recovered. Now, for whatever reason or whatever the narrative is, like, you know, peak inflation picked out, but whatever it was, you know, where would that put Bitcoin? And do you think there's a chance if this happens that Bitcoin is trading at $58,000? The reason I pull $58,000 out of a hat is simply because that's what all this work last week, this model has shown. And anyway, let's keep going. But this is talking about, it's also interesting in context of looking at this minus 18% where we are right now. And you can see that we are just off of that 2018 low. where we did see the Fed pivot. We saw the U.S. Treasury Secretary make those calls to all the bankers, and we saw the president say this is a good time to buy stocks. If you check out where that was, you could see over here in 2018 when Powell pivoted right over there, you could see that we are close to an area where we've seen Fed pivots in the past. And you could see that although that drawdown was a little bit on equity markets was a little bit higher, whatever we're looking at CDX IG spreads. I don't know what that is, right? The most correlated to dovish Fed turns are near levels at which Fed has pivoted in the past. But inflation will likely delay their intervention until even more dire levels of stress. All right. Last thing before we get started today is that yesterday we started seeing we've been watching this yuan devaluation take place, and then you saw a big move up occur. You could see the big move up occur yesterday. What's interesting about that, and just making observations as this is something that we started watching at the very beginning, right? In the past, when you've seen counter rallies, like devaluations taking place, when you've seen these counter rally moves, here's a counter rally move. Here's a counter rally move. Come back over here. Like we got a nice counter rally move over there. Counter rally move. Is this the beginning of a counter rally move? Potentially, right? This seems like it's going straight down. In the past, when that has occurred, you could see here's counter trend. You could see that has given the equity markets a chance to go ahead and rally. Here's another one. And you could see off of that move, equity markets rallied. Go back to this one over there. Again, equity markets rally. Go back to this one over here. Again, equity markets rally. Jordan, it does not seem like the equity markets are rallying this morning. Nope, all markets right now are under real turmoil. To borrow a line from CNBC, distress. And look, for sure things could get disorderly. There's no question about that. But right now you're looking at all markets. NASDAQ down 3.8%. S&P 500 down 3%. You're looking at the DXY still strong. Yields below 3 today. And cryptocurrency really getting whacked. Yeah. All right. Just an observation. That's my hopium. My hopium is that we see the yuan put in some type of counter trend rally, that it doesn't just go straight down, right? And that because in the past when it's put in that counter trend rally, you have seen at that point risk go ahead and be able to put in a rally, and you could see it happening yesterday. Why the yuan was appreciating, right? You saw yesterday Bitcoin, crypto, equity markets all rallying. Today that's reversing, and you can see the vice versa. And that's just in real time a really good, let's say, indication of how all this is working. And just to continue our potential hypothesis that once the yuan finishes devaluating, at that point, that should be the point where risk really runs up. When the yuan finishes devaluating, that's when risk really melts up. Yeah. So coming back over here, here's again where the yuan finished devaluing and risk melted up. And you could just even see on these counter trend rallies, even when the yuan has a counter, if we're going to see the yuan continue to devalue, even when it has those counter trend rallies, you would see risk get a reprieve. Not happening today, and the yuan is coming off today again. It's, so now this is going to be a very unorthodox session compared to what we've been covering, what we've been doing, but it's just where I am at today and what I want to focus in on. My desire is still to move back towards a place where I am focusing on the equity markets. That's what I wanted today's session to be on. I know that the trend lines we used coming off of the March lows over here and throughout help people manage their risk in it was really beneficial and useful for a lot of people for a long time. And including, although I didn't pay too much attention to it as it was happening in real time. But the break of both this dotted trend line and trend line over here, that was the last lines. And then obviously that's proven to benefit as well. And I would like to be able to offer people as much information as possible to help them make their own decisions, including on the equity markets. And whether or not that, then the first thing I do is revert over here, Luke, to the 2-day 70 over 70 period. And this actually works fantastic ever since the Great Recession, ever since 2008, even on the 1 day. This worked, but it doesn't work at all going back over here towards the great 2020 crash, and then followed by recession, and that 2-year multi move down. It doesn't perform well at over there. I don't have a solution at this particular moment, but I want to focus on where I do have a solution, and I'll be coming back to this, and I want to get it all, but right here is where we have the most alpha, the greatest solution on CTM 2.0, right? 8-hour time frame. It was mentioned yesterday. Let me find a chart really quick as we talk about it. And it was mentioned out of curiosity whether or not spending time on the 15-minute time frame would make a lot of sense when you're waiting for setups to occur on the 8-hour time frame. The thing is, and this is for real, let me move this over. Like the thing is that, let me move that over now, is that this is quite boring, George. I've been out of the market here since April 5th. I've like, all right, well, Bitcoin's down 36%. That's good. I mean, of course that's not good. You all understand what I mean. I hope. Give me a little bit of leeway today. So depower, the yuan, big drop, begins at the point of yield that China's debt is lower than the U.S. 10-year. Wow. I mean, so interesting. I viewed the devaluation of the yuan having to do a lot with the devaluation of the Japanese yen, and just from a very simple standpoint, is so that it could remain competitive in their exports. And there was talk. You all know that I'm a big fan of reading in between the lines and zero hedge. And there was talk before the yuan started devaluing that they were going to need to. They were going to need to devalue. Yeah, a lot of those things, depower. Thanks for that's why the hive mind is so great. A lot of those things together. I bring this up because I posted this over here today. Yeah, and I'm just showing the slope of 107. And this comment comes up, and Sharish is saying, mathematically, people see a curve down portion in the log scale and think that's the law of diminishing return. A straight line on a log scale equals exponential. Only this part loses me. Depower, I bring it up because the part you're speaking here, loses me, And sometimes it's because I have to come back to things and spend a lot more time with them. And but I bring it up. He says only the coefficient is changing. I don't know what this is. Yeah, I think I'll tag Ben. Ben's got what does he have a PhD in nuclear engineering? He might know. Not the mathematically exponential function. It's a common engineering fallacy. Yeah. And so look, my response is until the adoption curve flattens around mature I can't even pronounce the word. Help me out, CTM. Or adoption rate changes. I imagine this continues. Agree, being a math nerd, a small x early on in the adoption curve, there is no significant difference in linear. This is interesting. Exponential or logarithmic. We have a little bit of difference between our linear and log, between 22,000 and 19,000, or even the sigmoid curve, S curve, vis-a-vis the Taylor series approximation. I want to tag Beg on this or send him a message and find out what his opinion is on this. Anyway, I digress, but I want to share, and I want to share everything with you all. let's get into it. Look, it's nice to be on the sidelines. It's nice to be on the sidelines and waiting, but it could be boring. Is there something I could be doing while I'm waiting for the next buy signal to occur? Yeah. And, is that on the 15-minute time frame? Might I be able to, find some action and take in some profit? Look, I don't think so. I think that's detrimental. The first thing I did was go down to lower time frames, and the 8 hour from all the work that I've done is the most profitable time frame there is to be focused in on. Now, you could also be profitable on the daily time frame and with different settings if it helped with your quality of life and being able to make sure that you were able to follow each signal. But the work that CTM has done as far as even automation through bots it solves that solution, and the 8 hours is the most profitable. And I think that in order to be able to execute, we have that video, and it shows the ocean, and it talks about what your goals are and what you need to do to execute to get there. And I think that this is a distraction because I don't think that it produces. And look, I don't think so. If anyone is able at any point to come up with a working solution, I'm all about it. The closest I've seen to something taking place like that on a small time frame was the work that we did. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull it up by doing MetaTrader. Yeah, so this work over here, right? This was Friday, April the 1st, and we're talking about a solution using CTM 2.0 on the 1 hour time frame on the US 30, NASDAQ 100, 1 hour time frame, and all the particulars are over here as well. And that's something that that's on the back deck for myself that I would like to put some time into and see whether or not that's something that could be like a really good addition to CTM or not, but that's worth the time. That's on a very short time frame, and there could be something there, right? But as far as the 15-minute, not that I know of, I don't think so, and I would recommend staying away there, not experimenting. It's just I don't see it unless I'm proven wrong. But what I do see a lot of value is over here on the 8 hour, and I want to focus in on that. That's where I've been focused in on this morning. And look, you all may or may not know my own particular thoughts on shorting Bitcoin. And again, it's not a moral question. There's nothing morally wrong with shorting Bitcoin or anything like that. And it's a discussion whether you believe it's right or wrong that we could have together. But the way that I see it is I don't want to short Bitcoin myself, and I prefer to be buy side only, long side only on Bitcoin. And the way that we've, shown how CTM 2.0 performs, it's all you need. Even only looking at what's happened, even from the top, from the top to here, like being able just to be in the market when we have these buy impulses and standing aside outside of it, it's the best thing to do, and over a long period of time. Nevertheless, I do feel, and I have no idea what happens from here. Maybe we do not, revert back up and risk go on to make new all-time highs. Maybe we are in for something like 2000 and for like the party's just getting started on the downside. And really, when the Fed is going to continue tightening until it breaks something, maybe it gets really messy when it breaks. And maybe they take it too far, and that maybe it's going to take a long time to repair. There's talk always of like the lost decade that Japan experienced in its stock market, and whether or not maybe stagflation is going to bring something like that along over here. And if that happens, maybe, now, the way I view Bitcoin is the adoption rate is a little over 100% a year. I don't, and I put it like that, is that coincidence or is that causation? Because the slope is also a little over 100%. You know, is something going to cause the adoption rate of Bitcoin to fall off? If it does, that's something that would affect price. Is Bitcoin going to do Bitcoin things and decouple from the stock market if the stock market goes sideways for X amount of time and the adoption rate continues on Bitcoin? That's my base case. That's all the work that I've presented over the past week. But at the same time, if I'm wrong, I want to make sure that we're as protected as can be. And to do that, it seems to me that probably the best thing or addition that could be worked on is, well, let me, oh no, this whole time, no one let me know that we were on the Discord the whole time. No, you guys got to let me know, help me out a little bit. I'm so sorry about that, you know? If you're with me, smash the like button. If you're with me, smash the like button. Sorry about that. I was going off of visuals talking and you guys weren't able to see the same thing as me. All right. Bitcoin was designed to perform in a recession. So I think Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to the current system. How it would perform in a recession, nobody knows because Bitcoin has never been in a recession. Yeah, outside of 2020, the couple of weeks recession that we were in. No, Bitcoin has never been in a recession, a prolonged recession, a la 2008 or 2000. And if the adoption rate continues, I imagine Bitcoin does Bitcoin things and decouples. But it's not immune, especially from current Fed policy. And let's just make sure that we have a backup. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Let me start with this because it was put very well this morning by Michael. And, let's just start over here. Michael this morning was saying the backtester with the Kalman plus CTM 2.0 is showing good results in shorting Ethereum. I'm not a coder, but would like to learn how to add the short side alerts from that. Right, Reza was all over it. What was really nice about that was I was spending the morning going from looking at Bitcoin long 2270. This is our preferred settings, my preferred settings, CTM's preferred settings, and then looking for or at on the short side, looking at Ethereum, the 2333 periods. So far, it's the best settings that I've had on shorting Bitcoin. Right, so I'm looking at them for Ethereum. You can see as I started this morning. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. When I say these are my preferred settings for long side Bitcoin, right, 22/70 on Ethereum. All right, I'm looking at something to short. I don't want to short Bitcoin. I prefer to be buy side only. I have no qualms about shorting Ethereum. Is it also the 2333 period? I was taking a look at it. One thing that comes to mind is this particular area over here. It's this area in May when you saw Ethereum rise 1 month longer than Bitcoin before it started falling off. If you look at that period on Bitcoin as well, you could see that this is where in April Bitcoin topped. And the thing is, so I'm concerned about drawdown. So I'm looking at the list of trades over there. Sorry, this is an important session. But like I said, I wanted to come in a little bit cold instead of so prepared just to see if there was a difference. This is the section I'm looking at between the end of April. This is on Bitcoin, right? And into the middle of July, there's a drawdown over here on Bitcoin, right? Before, again, on the buy side, it started making those big trades. On Ethereum, at that same particular time, there's also a drawdown. And that's because that they are not completely, they weren't correlated at that time. So you can see there's a big drawdown in that area as well up until the end of June when those shorts on Ethereum really take hold. So that would probably be between the two. about a 50% drawdown. That's pretty high. The returns are obviously together pretty substantial. And then I just want to add, then I wanted to take a look at the Kaman plus the Kaman filter. Michael was sharing this morning. I'm so sorry about that. These are the settings we use on the long side that Michael introduced on the long side for Ethereum. They're different than the one that Reza introduced, right? The Kaman gain is 600 instead of 60. The final approach, the beginning approach over here, and the fast and the slow. And the returns are phenomenal going back to 2015 with the drawdown. Michael's been looking on the short side, right? That's the long side settings. For the short side on Ethereum, he put in 46.48. This is using the Kaman filter, right? Using the Kaman filter. And he's got the Kaman gain instead of 600 on the long side at 6. And then the final approach 3.6. And comparing that to my 2033.3. Yeah. Comparing that to the 2333, you could see that that's a 78% return with a 50% drawdown. His settings over here are showing 191%, right? With a 36% drawdown. So this seems really superior. I don't know if it's curved. I don't know how to get around that. But these settings seem spectacular. Here's the thing, and here's what I want you to see really quick. This is like, let me go to the blah, 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 blah. Let me add in over here the long side now. All right. So this is the least desirable settings compared to what Michael's been playing with, a 78 instead of a 200. And if you add in the long side, I mean, the results with the long side are obviously going to be significantly better with the short side, because even in these periods that we're currently in right now, where prices coming off, right? Even though long side only, you're just out, the short side is growing that P&L. And that just makes it from when the long side starts to trigger, the long side is starting from a bigger point. And it's just compounding those returns even better. I feel like it's something that needs to be implemented. I was so glad this morning when I saw a lot of people checking in inside the Discord, because I wanted to get as many people as possible, CTM Hive Mind, on this today. And that's where I'm at. I see the value, right? I personally don't want to short the Bitcoin. And if anyone here is shorting Bitcoin, that's all good. Again, there's nothing morally wrong with it. I'm here actually to even help design or figure out what the best way to do that. I never had a better option than 2333. It's really hard to be profitable on the short side for a long time. You could do it in select periods. Like you could do it during 2018. You could do it during the last 6 months. But to be able to be profitable consistently on the long side is very, very, on the short side over a long period of time is very difficult. It's an exponentially growing asset. However, these settings that Michael is introducing to us, 46, 48, Ethereum, short side, combining that with, got some books falling, combining that with the long side, and I'm not going to do it here because you can see the short side is not profitable here. Look at this. This is going back now to 2015. This is even looking at in the last 5 months. It's not even profitable. Now go back over here to the other setting and just look at the last 5 months. Yeah, he's got a profit. And that's how hard it is to profit on the downside. This is also holding 28% open position right now. Right? Open P&L 20. So it's really something. And I think combining this short side with the long side over here, right, is going to produce some type of result similar to this. If you were combining, sorry, last thing and then I'll stop. right? If you just had the long side only, you're looking at, this is 23.33. You're looking at something that's profitable. If you just had the short side only, you're looking at something that's profitable. You add them together and you get something way more profitable. The drawdown, though, that does increase, right? No, it doesn't increase. So on the short side, Michael, I'm not seeing it. I'm going back to 15. I'm not seeing a difference in the drawdown when I go from 3.1 from 3.6. I mean, the return is the same, down 3%. But Michael, the work you're doing here is very creative. Really, 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 really creative. Keep going, and I think that there's something of enormous value here. And my only concern is the curve fitting end. But I put it up originally as soon as you posted it, and I don't really know how we reconcile that. But yeah. Anyway, that's that for this portion here this morning. Unless someone has anything else we want to plug into or add to that. Yeah, Fabio. In the worst financial collapse, Bitcoin might rise as the ultimate risk-off asset, as mentioned by Saylor. I think it would be under pressure first, though, right? And that's the thing. Michael does a fantastic job in so many ways of continuing to further the education and awareness of Bitcoin. There's no question about it. And we all have our strengths to add. Jose, in the short term, even if the markets get some relief rally as we're approaching June Fed meeting, I think it will come back to the fear panic mode to wipe out some more people. And look, I don't know what happens from here. Yeah, I don't know when the market is going to bottom or anything like that. If it goes lower, I'm looking for 33,000 in September. I would like to see that. That gets at the June meeting. That gets at the summer. There could be volatility in between. I expect whipsaws in between, and unfortunately, we're seeing that today. When I say unfortunately, I mean we are seeing just a big move up, and then it's being faded back down. And, but that was or is the base case for myself, is that we would be looking at some whipsaw in the near future. Whether or not this is the bottom over here or not, I have no idea. I think it's too soon. And there we are. Sandra, buenas tardes. All right. So market's under strong turmoil today, though. There's no question about that. I'm trying to pull something up over here. Nasdaq down 3.5%. S&P almost down 3%. And yeah, everything feeling it, right? And there we are. So I feel like over the past week, we've done some of our best work in making sure we have our focus, preparing for where we are right here, for what's ahead. And at this particular time, I think that why the buy side only solution, I think, is the one side fits all. I want to have also a way to be attacking in all market circumstances. It seems to me the idea is to flatten out the drawdown and to increase the returns. and having that type of relationship on the buy and sell side, that's ideal. So that's where I'm at today. If anyone has any thoughts about something we want to talk about, if anyone has any thoughts about today's session or anything at all, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll keep this one short today because this is where my focus is on this morning. I'm making the pivot. I just want you to know, again, putting in all that modeling work, what needs to be done. What does the next, David? That's a good one. And that's the easy one, only because we spent all the time putting that work in. I want to come back to this one, just letting you all know. I have this as like my playground. And this is something that I will be coming back to as far as what's next. But, right over here is the next big technical breakdown. They're so important. We had the 53,000, right? And then after 53,000, we had the 35,000. And 35,000 was the channel support. Nevertheless, 37,000 would have been a better de-risking point. The next area that I'm looking at is 22,000 on the log scale. I don't think that we break it. Is it possible we break it? Yep. That's why it's a de-risking big technical level. If we break 22,000, again, I don't think that we break it. If we break 22,000, the only other line of support that I have below it is 19,000 on a linear chart. But below that, I don't have anything. And below that, that's your last line. Below that, it could really get really bad. So 22,000, to answer the question simply. Below that is 19,000 on a linear. And that would also be breaking that. That's taking out the all-time, the previous cycle all-time high. That brings into question what's going on with crypto, the incentives of crypto over fiat, and a whole host of different questions. Arthur Hayes, we read it together, brought that up 2 months ago in a Medium article, and that would be real. But we're not there. Next big level, 22,000. Thank you, J-Boy. Thank you all. I just want to take this, J-Boy, this moment just to share with all of you from heart to heart. And, since CTM started, I've put my whole heart and soul, mind, and everything into this community, and just gave as much as possible, gave everything. Starting in May, in April, in May, actually May 14th, even though we spent the live stream that Friday saying if 50,000 gets broken, this is wrong, get neutral. From there on in, the amount of toxicity that I received, it really took a toll on me. It changed the way that I interact with all of you. It changed the way, and then beyond that, and at the same time, there were a lot of people that I gave a voice to, that I gave a platform to, that I gave an audience to, that I built totally people turning on me, and it's just very bad. But looking back on that all a year later, it's really changed my ability to be as open as I like to be myself, to share. Twitter, the same thing. The way that Twitter's incentivized, there's a lot of also ugly interaction, and I'm just the observer, and I'm just saying what is what is. This is what's happened. It's had consequences, and there we go. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. So thanks, Jay, when you say something like that. David, anyone else, Pat, for real. Not because it feeds my ego. I don't want to have an ego, for real. I've been as humbled as you can be in life and before my God. So I don't have an ego. I think that the way that I come off and communicate could be done a lot better. I'm working on that always. At the same time, I don't want to lose my edge and competitive ability in the markets, and it takes that type of confidence. Anyway, I just things are good that are going on inside me that I want to be able to share with you, and that's all. And I'll just leave it there. I switched a bunch of Ethereum and Grayscale, sold Ethereum higher, now putting into MicroStrategy and thinking more about Grayscale, Bitcoin. I always wonder in the back of my mind what's going to happen with Grayscale, what's going to happen with that premium, and what are the risks? I just wonder what are the risks for Grayscale. I have money invested into Grayscale as well and continue to execute there. Thank you, Jose. I'm trying as hard as possible. I continue to it's everything we go through. Obviously, it's either gonna break you or make you better. I'm in the camp of the growth mindset, and I'm just gonna keep going and just try to be better and better. And there we are. Got to always stay humble. We make big mistakes once we lose the humility. Ironically, we'll be humbled again and gain it back. There you go. You can't get any more wise than that. So I'm just gonna read those words verbatim and not anything to that. That's totally true. Thank you for all this wisdom being shared. Thank you, Matt and Initiative. And that's where we like to focus on the professional side for sure. At the same time, I am human, and I feel like when I was more authentically myself, because when you're not guarded, you're authentic, right? I feel like not just our professional side of analysts of the markets, but also we're able to share a lot of also like life stuff that really helps and has helped a lot of people. And anyway, that's where we. Thank you, Tanya. That's where we are today. Shorter session, good session, and I'm focused over here. It kind of seemed where Michael was this morning as well. It kind of seemed like Reza was ready to help out in a heartbeat. Amazing stuff, and that's just exactly where Michael was this morning. That's where I was, and he's saying, "Look, I'm looking at over here." Jordan, the more I dive in, the more determined I am to find the best settings that will produce the most consistent results. When we say consistent results, we all mean consistent results, and we also mean like fire tremendous results while limiting drawdowns. CTM plus Reser's Kamen tester, Ethereum, US dollar short side. This is what I'm looking at. And that combination, that marriage of the long and the short side, that might be the way to do it. And it's also, I look, here's another thought. Michael's results on Ethereum well outperform. Hold on one second. Let me put on the this right here. Let me pull up Ethereum. That's the old settings. I mean, that's the new settings for the short side. This is the long side settings. All right, this is where I want to be. These long sides on Ethereum, even going back to 2021, these results well outperform Bitcoin to the upside. Yeah. And does that continue? Like, obviously, you all know my feelings on Ethereum and Bitcoin and how Ethereum carries more risks. I believe if you're also attacking from the downside, then at that point, whatever risks they are to Ethereum, that might be migrated a little bit. But I wonder if the best plan of approach is to continue on the upside for Bitcoin. And just when I said you all know how it outperforms, here's from 2021, that was almost a 500% gain, right? This is long side, 40% since 2021. Oh my goodness. I'll just put that down there. This is since 2021, it's 10x the return. Now, I don't know what happens going forward from here, but it might be to continue focusing on the long side of Bitcoin and add the short side with something like these settings on Ethereum. And that combination of long side Bitcoin, which obviously gives inferior results compared to the long side on Ethereum over the last year and a half, nevertheless, and the short side on Ethereum. Those are my thoughts. Thank you, Cassidy. Thank you very much. Thanks, my brother. All right, everyone. This is where I'm at. This is where the focus is going on, and just making sure that CTM is able to say, hey, listen, this is the holy grail right here. I look, knowing when to be out of the markets, when to be in the markets, that's priceless. Nevertheless, if we could come up with something that is able to, be better, that's where we always strive. And could you imagine if this is where we are today in May of 2022, where we're going to be January 2023, right? Hopefully, we are looking at, this did provide a good roadmap, and that we are looking at risk and equity markets coming back towards their all-time highs, if not at their all-time highs. Hopefully, we are looking at something like Bitcoin trading all the way up and is trading back 58,000 or higher. By the way, how bullish would that be? If you were looking at Bitcoin making a new all-time high before the 2020 halving, it's just so bullish. But right now and today, the markets are under turmoil. There's no question about that. I hope you all stay strong. I hope that CTM in this environment helps you keep positive, helps you keep level-headed, and gives you the tools that over the next, over the next 5 years and over the next 10 years, are you going to be able to sincerely create something extraordinary. I know, Luke. Not that I know. I mean, you got it. And that goes back to the importance even of over here of something of like, I'm bringing up the 2-day and just knowing when you should not be in the market. And look, just because we're here looking at it and talking about, this is the hard part. And this is the part to focus in on, because it's the hard part. When I was playing with it, I had some trades over there. I don't see any here right now. I was looking at the 1-day. That's why. CTM, have a beautiful day. These over here, Luke, on the 1-day, these provide a significant drawdown. It's like 5% drawdown, 5% drawdown, 5% drawdown. All of a sudden, you're down, 40%. The 2-day, definitely. I know this is how you introduced it. It keeps you out that whole period. Something to look at. Yeah. So, and this is the last thing I'm going to share, only because I don't understand it. I was looking at this, the performance. This is the 2-day 70-70, by the way. And if you go to contracts, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'll come back tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Lots of love. I'll see you again tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to put my head down and get to work. Talk to you all soon. Have a beautiful day, everyone. God bless you.
Why does everybody in the world seem so divided? Why does everybody gotta hate each other? Who decided? If I took all the world's pride and all the world's money and wrapped it in a blanket and put it in a buggy, could you see that maybe that baby was just the same as you are? It's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, you know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day long, all day long.
Alex, that's my favorite. Thank you. All things work towards good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Joseph, from the heart, thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. Alex, Brewmeister, Craig, everybody, thank you for making this community so special. CTM, all day long. I'll talk to you tomorrow, everyone. Thank you.
Good days, please come more often. Everybody's in the streets out coughing. Smog in the air, gonna send you to your coffin. Plastic everywhere down there with the dolphins. Everybody was born to a mama, so everybody is connected like karma. So disconnect yourself from the drama. Everybody's trying to heal like trauma. You know it's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, you know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. And I say, hey, hey, put all my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. And I say, hey, hey, put all of my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey. Today would be a very good day. For a good day, for a good day, you know that, for a good day, yeah, we need one, for a good day, we got this.
CTM,
For a good day.
thank you so much. I'll see you all tomorrow, everyone.